people think he's best suited, Nia, to handle the issues that they want dealt with. He's leading in the first 4 states. He's still leading in the national polls. How do you take him out?
You know, Bush is certainly trying to. I mean, they're engaged in a bit of a Twitter war now after Trump said something about Jeb Bush's brother, George W., and his prosecution of the war and handling of 9/11. But I think they've put $100 million, I guess, so far in Jeb's candidacy. His argument has always been his electability, but he's had a bit of a gaffe-prone run so far. All of this idea that he could expand the party's base with Latinos, with African Americans, with women, a lot of his gaffes have been directed at those groups. So you are in some ways seeing his money dry up. When he goes against Trump, it's not alien versus predator. It's like nerd versus jock. And he sort of tries to pull out the rule book. You know, you're not following the rules of presidential politics, and that's Trump's point. He isn't following the rules.
Very well put. And you mentioned Jeb Bush has become more aggressive, including in the last several hours. A brand new video going after Donald Trump's judgment as commander-in-chief. Let's take just a sample.
Who do you talk to for military advice right now?
Well, I watch the shows. I mean, I really see a lot of great, you know, when you watch your show and all of the other shows.
It's mocking, and it's true. Donald Trump said that. He gets a lot of his foreign policy advice from watching shows. But, Peter Baker, this is a web video. They're not spending millions of dollars to put up a television ad. They're throwing pebbles at an aircraft carrier, aren't they?
Yeah. No, hopefully he's not getting political advice by watching us. But the truth is that I think what we're seeing is, the question is, will he reach a ceiling, right? He's at 38% and so forth. That's still not a majority, but you've got 15 candidates out there splitting the vote. If it came down to a point where it started to consolidate, if it came down to a point where you had a choice between Trump and not Trump, what would he be able to do? And Scott Walker effectively said that when he dropped out, he basically almost begged other candidates to start dropping out so we can get to the
And none of them listened.
Right.
I mean, yes, in a one-on-one race, we might have a different dynamic, but we don't have a one-on-one race. And right now, we have this Trump-Bush dynamic. I just want to get a little bit more into this. There's something about Trump and Bush. Donald doesn't like Jeb, but Donald also has a history. This is very recent. Just this past week with Bloomberg News, raised a lot of eyebrows, especially, remember, he's competing first in a Republican primary. The country might not remember George W. Bush fondly, but a lot of Republicans still do. Listen to this.
When you talk about George Bush, I mean, say what you want, the World Trade Center came down during his time.
That's talking about the World Trade Center. And this, now you think, okay, so he's in a fight with Jeb and he's going to add George to it. No, let's go back to 2008. Here's an interview with Wolf Blitzer where he talks about Donald Trump, Republican voters. Donald Trump said this, we're not making this up, how impressed he was with Nancy Pelosi, but that he wished she was tougher on George W. Bush.
She was going to really look to impeach Bush and get him out of office, which personally I think would have been a wonderful thing.
Impeaching him?
Absolutely, for the war. For the war.
Because of the conduct of the
Well, he
war.
lied. He got us into the war with lies.
And again, this to me is to reset your clock, because he goes after George W. Bush. He has in the past spoken in favor of single-payer health care. He has said Nancy Pelosi was great, and he was impressed with her. He's given money to Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid. He says the economy does better among Democrats, and he says his sister would be a great Supreme Court justice, and conservatives say she's pro-choice on abortion rights, and he's the leading candidate of the conservative party in America, and he's the leading candidate with really deep roots. There's something in the water.
There is something in the water, and I think Nia put her finger on it when she said, you know, Jeb Bush is there waving the rule book saying, you're not following the rules, this is not how it's supposed to turn out. But this is a year when the Republican Party is not following the rules, and it's a difficult year for an establishment candidate to run, and it's a perfect environment for Donald Trump, and he's really taking advantage of it. And we've seen him make comments like this. He made a comment about John McCain, war hero, revered in the Republican Party, you know, for what he did in Vietnam, but he made this comment, and everyone thought, oh, that's going to hurt him, and he's going to be gone. And, you know, he's just gone up and up and up. So I think that what we've seen is this sort of, he can make these sorts of charges, and a lot of the most intense Republican voters right now are loving it.
They're loving it because they want something different. The question is, will one of the other candidates decide to actually spend some real money against him? The risk is you go after him, he takes you out. You might take him out, but he might take you with him.